Of Realities with
Roland
and Reyna. We're going to be bringing you a little funny, a little crazy, and a whole lot of reality.
Yeah, so welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, and if you're new here, of course, stick around.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn a thing or two, laugh, possibly. We're really hoping so, but above all, you'll learn a thing or two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this week, jumping right in, we're going to go over what we did this weekend.
Right.
And then we're going to dive right into our topic this week, which is commitment, but diving a little bit deeper, the fear of abandonment.
Right.
Okay. So at the end of the podcast, of course, we're going to go over some things such as the latest video we released.
Yeah.
So what did we do this weekend, babe?
Well, we went and saw a living history event. So basically, it wasn't necessarily a Civil War reenactment, but there were a lot of individuals that were dressed as the characters, that were living historians, that it was a commemoration of the Battle of the Wilderness during the Civil War. So we went out there and got to see some really cool things. And everybody that we met was awesome and super
chill.
Nice.
Yeah.
The downside was that the weather was not that great, so it kind of scared off a bit of people. So it wasn't quite as many people out there, but we still got some great footage.
We did.
Super excited to put that video together.
Yeah, so excited to do that.
Yeah.
And above all, they were really super knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
And they were just super chill, down-to-earth people once they were outside of character and explaining all kinds of stuff, too. So it was very, very, very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, we decided to switch up the podcast and we wanted to kind of condense it down a little bit to make it a little more listener friendly. So for this episode, we are going to really tackle one aspect instead of kind of tackling multiple aspects on a certain subject. So today we're going to be talking about commitment, fear of commitment, and specifically, why is it that people are so afraid in relationships? So what is it that makes people kind of put on the brakes and start really just pushing away? And it really comes down to quite a few things, but one of the biggest things is that fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
And it could stem from quite a few different things. There are people that have had previous issues in relationships where that person just, up and left in the middle of a hardship, or you were dealing with something and your significant other just wasn't there to support you, and, it left you feeling abandoned. And those are really significant issues. And a lot of people say that they try not to bring their baggage, quote unquote, into their new relationships, but it's really difficult not to.
Yeah.
It's really difficult not to. And I hate that term baggage because it's not really baggage. It's your life experiences.
Yeah, it is life experience. And not only that, it could be relationship based.
Right.
But it also could be just who you are. Like, let's say back when you were a child, like you were abandoned as a child.
Right.
Like that could be like.
And that's a deep-seated
That's super
fear.
deep-seated fear. And it'll live with you throughout your life if you don't kind of grasp the whole idea that that is the root cause of the way you are.
Right. And it could be something that's not as significant or as that. I mean, that's a really huge thing, as a child, especially as a child. But it could be just something that, maybe your parents didn't go to your sporting events. And that made you feel abandoned. Or maybe they decided to go to a different function instead of, come be with you for something. There's so many different aspects of it that could really feed into that. But it is fundamentally a basic human fear.
Yes.
I think almost everybody has that underlying fear of being abandoned or being left in a time of need. And it causes people to react in so many different ways. Speaking from experience, I would lash out.
Yeah.
So for me, I would push people away because I felt, well, they're going to leave anyways. So I might as well push them away before they have a chance to leave me on their own.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got older, probably into my 30s, that I realized what I was doing and why I was doing it. at the time, younger, in my teens and my 20s, it was just, I didn't really analyze why I was doing what I was doing. It was just something I was doing. And for me, it was a rational thought. It was exactly like I said, I'm going to push them away. And if they don't put up with my crap, then they weren't going to stick around in the first place, when that is the wrong way.
Babe. Okay, so for me, it was kind of the same thing, but on a little different term. So when it would come down to the actual feeling abandoned part, like for me, it was at the time in a certain relationship where you're really putting yourself out there,
right?
Like really investing in this relationship. And what I would do was push away at that critical moment, so that when I was pushing them away, if they didn't resist being pushed, I would let them go, because they weren't going to deal with what I was going to put in on my side, as in terms of investing in the relationship and the trust side of that. So that's my whole side. It goes along with what you were saying as well, but just a little bit different.
Right. And I can see that. And from a rational perspective, obviously that's the wrong way to deal with a relationship. But, obviously at the time when you're emotional, and especially you want to make sure, this is the irrational part of my brain speaking right now.
Oh, baby.
You want to make sure that, like you said, that person is invested.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to a point where you really need that person, and then they show you their true colors. So it's kind of like you're testing the waters. And like I said, that's definitely not the right.
It's not the right way to do it, but a lot of people do it.
Right. And it's something that it still happens. I'll be the first person to admit that it happens every once in a while. Roland and I will, have a heated discussion, and I will say something that, it isn't mean-spirited, but it kind of challenges him, or don't talk to me. But really, I do want him to talk to me. I'll tell him, I just want to be left alone. But no, really, I want him to come and hug me.
Right.
So
I'm the same way, babe.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
We're the same way.
It's something that is definitely a point for growth. And it's something, thankfully, that we both recognize in ourselves, and we're able to talk about it. And like I said, we don't lash out and say mean things to each other. But we do say things like, oh, I just want to be by myself. And that's not really it. I don't want to be by myself.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said earlier, I think that this is a fundamentally human thing to be afraid of being abandoned or being left. And it's not really something that we can say, oh, don't feel that way, because that's just silly. You can't tell someone not to feel a certain way. But what we can say is that you need to recognize it within yourself.
Yeah.
You need to see it. You need to be honest.
Yeah, you got to, the honesty is huge.
Right. You need to be honest with yourself and understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And above all else, you need to communicate with your partner. You need to let your partner know, your significant other know, that you are vulnerable, or that you're feeling needy, and that you need affection. Because that's what I do. I tell Roland that I'm being needy. I need affection.
She does. I mean, I can pick up on that stuff now, but especially in like the beginning of a relationship or in those critical times, you have to be open with them, and you have to, like Reyna said, definitely look within,
right,
and see why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Because
that's the biggest thing. We all want to try to fix somebody, but what it comes down to is you need to fix yourself.
Yeah,
you need to recognize it, and everybody can use some help fixing themselves, but you have to want to do it. And nobody's perfect, and like I said, Roland and I really strive to recognize the downsides of our personalities, I guess, and to try and talk to each other about them. And it still happens, and I'm sure that it will continue to happen less and less frequently. But, it is what it is. We're human, and nobody's perfect. That's been our mantra from like episode 1, is that nobody's perfect. And we recognize that. And we just want to help you recognize these things so that you can have a better relationship and, be a better person,
Yeah. Yep. And I think that sums it up, babe.
Yeah.
Just look within.
Right.
And figure out what is making you feel like you're going to end up being abandoned, or the fear of abandonment.
Right.
And then
talk to your partner about it.
Communicate. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So like Roland was saying, that's pretty much it, folks. We are trying this new format, and hopefully you are grabbing all the information that we're throwing at you, and we're going to tackle these items pretty much one at a time to really get you to think about the things instead of trying to throw 4 or 5 things at you at a time. So we definitely want to hear from you. We want to know if you like the new format. We want to know, if you are liking the old format. Let us know.
Yeah.
Find us on our website at rr.com. And from there, you can find us, our Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram. You can pretty much contact us on almost every social media platform.
Oh, yeah. And also be sure to click that YouTube icon.
Oh, yeah.
You can get over to our YouTube where we just released a really cool video of our trip to Carter Mountain Orchard, which was really, really fun.
Super fun.
Yeah, a little cutesy video. I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it once you watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps up this week's podcast.
Yeah.
And until next Thursday, y'all.
See you later, guys.
See ya.